Hi, and welcome to Conversations. I'm Robin Torres, your host. Today we have a special edition for you, and we're going to discuss the Buffalo Soldiers. We have with us in the studio Ms. Leota Marks, Dean of Human Resources and Affirmative Action right here at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. Leota Marks is also a descendant of one of the Buffalo Soldiers right there at Fort Leavenworth. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit about your great-grandfather who was a Buffalo Soldier, and I believe his name is Sam Garland?
Sure.
And what you know about him?
Okay, all right. Well, Sam Garland was born in Mississippi, and he was born on a slave plantation. His father was an African, and his mother was a Cherokee Indian. Somehow, by the time he was age 14, he was able to get off that plantation and board a riverboat, landed in Kansas, came into Kansas through Quindaro. From there he went on to do some volunteering in the military and then eventually joined the service as a Buffalo Soldier.
Now, why did he volunteer in the service?
He volunteered because at that time African Americans were not allowed to join, and so this was his way to get involved and contribute.
Okay. Any special stories you have to share with us about your great-grandfather?
Well, you know, there's those folklore stories that are passed down through the family, like about the time that he allegedly kicked a man off a horse. Okay. I don't know if that was true.
Okay.
But I do know that he was a serious a big help in a big battle during or after the Civil War, possibly. He played an important role in that battle.
Now you have, not your memories personally, but your mom's memory of your great-grandfather.
Yes.
And what does she particularly remember about him, or stories that she may have passed along to you?
Well,
other than just knowing him and all these great stories, anything personal?
Yes, I can tell you a little bit personal about him. He lived for a while in Leavenworth, and between Leavenworth and Wyandotte County. Met my great-grandmother in the area, and they married in Wyandotte County. They had 3 children, one of which was my grandfather, William Garland, and he was born in Basehor, Kansas. And at that time, Mary Garland's family, her father and mom, also lived in Leavenworth, and they decided to head west to Nicodemus and settle out there on the homestead, and so they went with their in-laws and went to Nicodemus and settled on homestead out there. And Sam Garland owned he was a businessman. He sold real estate. He was also a great orator for the Republican Party.
Okay, wow. Now you seem to have a lot of information, and I know that someone from Nicodemus helped put this together. And before we get to her, what was so special about Nicodemus, Kansas? Because before talking to you off camera, I had no idea about where Nicodemus was or anything about it.
Well, Nicodemus is very special. It's a very historical place, and it's located in the northwestern part of the state. It's about 45 or 50 miles northwest of Hays, and it's in Graham County. And it was one of the destinations after slavery was over. It was one of the destinations of the exodusters, who are people who came up from the south, black people who came from the south to the north, and that was one of the destinations. Okay. Was for them to go to Nicodemus and settle there. And at one time, it was a big town, very booming town back in the beginning of the century, up to about the time of the Great Depression, and it started to decline after that.
Okay, so your great-grandfather marries.
Yes.
Mary, and they moved to Nicodemus.
They moved to Nicodemus and lived their lives there, and they lived there for a while, and then they continued to move on westward to Colorado, where they went out on some other property and homesteaded for some years out in southeastern Colorado, in Manzanola, Colorado.
In Manzanola, okay.
But there are two cemeteries in Nicodemus, and one of them is named the Samuels Cemetery, who was named after Mary's parents, and that is where Sam and Mary are buried, as well as Mary's parents. Wow. And it's over in south of Nicodemus.
Now, how old did your great-grandfather, how old was he when he passed?
He lived to be 99 years old. He passed in 1946.
So during his lifespan, and he was born in what,
1847.
Okay. Yeah. During his lifetime, he born in slavery, fought in the Civil War on a voluntary basis.
Right.
Joined the military, and I mean, he lived a long, long life.
He did a lot of things.
Yes, he did. Well, we are very proud to have you in the studio and have this wonderful picture of your great-grandfather, and it's nice and well preserved. I'm really, really thankful for you coming in.
Thank you. I was glad to come, and we want to thank Angela Bates for providing the picture for us.
Angela Bates, and I want to invite her back in the coming weeks, because I would like to do a special with her on her historic findings, and she's a historian there.
Yeah, she has a wealth of information. She's responsible for the establishment of the Nicodemus Historical Society, and she's also was a great player involved in getting the town hall designated as a national historical site, and the U.S. Park system is set up over there. And anybody who wants to get information about Nicodemus, you know, they can go there anytime and visit, and there's a ranger there, and they have plenty of literature and information about the history of the city.
All right. Well, I can't wait for her to come on.
All right.
Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Now we're going to take a trip to Fort Leavenworth at the Buffalo Soldier Monument and speak with a Buffalo soldier. Hi, I'm Robin Torres, and we're here in Fort Leavenworth, standing right in front of the Buffalo Soldier Monument, and still a Buffalo soldier, Mr. James Madison. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, I'm glad to be here. And I came in the service right here in this same fort, and all I went through was the physical, and I took the oath of office. Then I was transferred to Fort Riley, Kansas, where I went through 13 weeks of basic training. After the basic training, I was shipped out to California, Camp Lockett, California. That's where I was introduced to my horse.
What year was it when you joined the military?
I went in 42.
Okay.
But in 43, that's when I started my basic training.
Okay.
And I had 13 weeks of it in Fort Riley, Kansas. After the basic training there, I was shipped out to California, Camp Lockett. That's where I was introduced to my horse.
Your horse.
And I had, well, I was out there, and you have to answer whenever they call your name, and I was up there with a top sergeant there. I think it was, I forget what his name was. Anyway, there he told me, he said, well, you're gonna have to ride this horse there, so pick out your horse. Well, they had a lot of horses over there, around about 200. So I just pointed to a horse because I didn't know one horse from another. And so they lassoed him, brought him up, and the top sergeant said, okay, saddle him up. Well, I threw the saddle on him in there and tightened up the cinch and everything, and thought the horse was ready. So the top sergeant said, okay, said, mount him. But before I mounted him there, I tightened the cinch up again, because in my training up in Fort Riley there, I had They told me there about a horse there swelling up when you first tighten the cinch up, and he said after you tighten it up once, well, you better tighten it up again, because he'll exhale and then they'll leave a gap in that cinch. And so when I did that, top sergeant said, "It looks like you know what you're doing." I said, "I hope so." He said, "Okay, mount him up." Well, I got on the horse and I wasn't on him 1 second before he threw me. So I went riding, got back on him again, and he threw me again. The old top sergeant said, "Okay, get back on him. We ain't got all day to fool with you." So I got back on him again, and he threw me that time. Well, I'm just about ready to tell him what he could do with that horse. But I remembered when I was up in Fort Riley that a difference of opinion there with the sergeant there, and they went out in the back in the barracks, went in the back and to settle the dispute. When they come back out there, this recruit there had a bloody nose, and I think they had a pretty good argument right there. And so behind that, after I thought about that, I changed my mind about telling the sergeant what he can do with that horse. He said, "Okay, get back on him, man. If you don't ride him this time, you're going to do 2 weeks of stable patrol." Well, anyhow, I got back on him, and somehow or another there I was able to stay on him. He took me around and around the corral about a couple of times, and then they opened the gate and let him out. When they let him out, he took me around the woods and a low-hanging branch and knocked me off of him. But then the horse went on about his business there, and then I walked on back to top sergeant and says, "Where's that horse?" I said, "Well, I don't know where he's at. He's out there somewhere." "Okay, you report to the stable, and you're going to do two weeks of stable patrol. Report to Corporal Lynch." Well, I reported to Corporal Lynch, and I said, "Well, I'm ready to do my stable patrol." Said, "Give me my equipment." I thought he was going to bring out the rifle so I could march and up and down the stable there, and he brought out a pitchfork. He said, "Now you start in this stall and you clean out that stall. I got a wagon out in the middle of the hallway where you throw all of the stuff in the wagon. And when you get up to one end of the stable, see they had 12. Well, it was about 12 stalls on it. After I got through with that side, he told me to cross over and come back down on the other side. Well, I did that. Then after that, well, heck, he told me, said, "Well, you get up on top of that wagon, and it'll take you out in the field there where you got to unload all that." I did that, and after I was through with that, well, he told me I had to go and take care of the horse. Well, the same horse that I had there, he knew where his stall was at. So I went in there and I had a brush and curb comb, man. I brushed him down, and I started to, well, I had to wipe out his ears and nose and everything like that. And then I was just about getting ready to let the horse go there to finish up there and everything, and he stepped on my foot and just put enough weight on there where I couldn't pull my foot out, and I hollered at Corporal Lynch. I asked him if he would come and get the horse off of me. Well, he turned his back on me and walked on down the aisle. So I had an automatic pistol there in the horses that they issued me. I took it out and I hit him back and back of the ear there, and he got off of me there, and I was able to get away. And after that,
well, tell me about being a Buffalo soldier when you came back to Fort Leavenworth.
Well, I came back to Fort Leavenworth. I came back from California. I went overseas, and I stayed over there for about 13 months.
Okay.
Landed in Casablanca, North Africa, and stayed there for about a week, and then they transferred me to Italy. And I went over in Italy, and they put me in the combat engineers, and I stayed, like I say, I was over there for 13 weeks, and I did everything.
Well, tell us about being a Buffalo soldier.
Well, the part of being a Buffalo soldier there, heck, I didn't do very much actually there on it. Let's see, because the part of being a Buffalo soldier there, heck, that was mostly done there by the soldiers that were in action previous to me. Because mostly all the Buffalo soldier part that I did there was when I come back from overseas, and well, heck, I just went through the regular training, because I had to go out in Yakima, Washington. That's where they had anti-aircraft training, and I trained to operate an anti-aircraft gun there and try to shoot down an airplane. Well, before they shipped me overseas, heck, they dropped that bomb in Hiroshima, so I didn't have to go over in the south part of the country. I didn't have to go to Japan, and that's when they let me out in 45. But when they started the Buffalo Soldier deal of building this monument, that was in 91. Well, I had been in the organization. So they started the organization up there, and I was in that Buffalo Soldier organization for a pretty good while. And then they started solicitation there for building that monument here. That was in 91. And 92 was when they got enough money, and they started the dedication of the monument. That's when Colin Powell, he gave the address, and he dedicated this statue. I was part of it because I was in the chapter, Leavenworth, Kansas City, Leavenworth area chapter at the time.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And it's a beautiful day here in Fort Leavenworth, and we're looking at the monument here. And we're going to talk to someone about the monument in just a moment. Okay?
It's okay.
But I thank you, Mr. Madison, for your
contribution.
Right
sorry I couldn't give you a whole lot.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
We'll be right back in just a moment. Hi, I'm Robin Torres, and I'm here with Commander Philpott, who is ex-military. He's a retired Navy. Spent the last 5 years in Fort Leavenworth. And today I want to talk to you about your contribution to the statue that we're standing in front of today, which is for the Buffalo Soldiers. So can you tell us how you got involved with the project?
I came here in '89 to be assigned to the Commanding General Staff College. I was working with a Brigadier General Lonnie Doherty as a volunteer based in my family got out here, and through the process I eventually became fully incorporated into the project and worked on it. Been working on it since '89.
Okay. Now we hear you work really closely with Colin Powell.
Well, he was our guardian angel for the project.
Okay.
It was just the idea generated from him back in the early '80s when he was stationed here as a one-star general. He was jogging around the fort, and over by the fire station there are two roads called the 9th and 10th Cavalry Roads. And so as he was jogging by the roads, he said, well, there should be more here than that. So he generated the idea of some type of monument to the Buffalo Soldiers in the early '80s. And a man named Mr. Lester Linton was the first project chairman, then Lonnie Doherty. And it was a pleasure to work with General Doherty.
Okay.
And then from start to finish, in '89 we dedicated in July '92 with 20,000 people here.
Tell us how much the project ended up costing. And well, first of all, before we get to that, how much did you estimate it to cost?
And
what was the ways that you started collecting and raising money?
We estimated about $400,000 to $600,000 when we started. We didn't know what we were doing, never done anything like that before. And I think the total cost ended up being about $1.3 million with about $400,000 or $500,000 in-kind services by some of the contractors around here. And we raised money from major contributors like Coca-Cola, Coors, Nabisco, then the Amish, big benefactors. And a lot of the students at the Commanding General Staff College selected the project as their class gift. And that was about $25,000 each. The Tuskegee Airmen gave us $25,000. And it was just small contributions coming from around the world.
Tell us about the statue, the measurements. I mean, it's
about 13 foot tall, weighs about 2,000 pounds.
How did it get here?
It was done by Eddie Dixon.
Okay, Eddie Dixon was the sculptor.
For everything here, Eddie Dixon did it.
Okay.
And our original agreed price that we owed him was $70,000 on him, just to get it out of the foundry. We brought it down on a open bed truck from Colorado. Got a lot of weird stairs on it, and a lot of local contractors contributed money. Cars Construction did the digging of the holes. The Palms Free, Geiger Construction, Concrete gave us the concrete. And we were just blessed to have a lot of contributors.
It was beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm glad you like it.
The day that it was dedicated, tell us about, and there's a story about the weather and how they didn't think they were going to get it.
It was extremely hot.
Okay.
Very hot that day. And I think we estimate about 20,000 people here, people on top of the buildings and everything. And we had the stands right on the other side of those hedges over here. And we had flags on the back side decorating the stage. And just as we knew it was going to rain, but just as General Powell got up to speak, the dark clouds started rolling in from the real dark clouds started rolling in, the flags started blowing. And as General Powell got ready to speak, he said it wouldn't dare rain today. And just as he said that, the clouds rolled back.
Wow.
The sky was clear for about an hour or so after the dedication, and the clouds opened up.
And the clouds came back.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story.
It is.
And
a lot of stories.
You have promised to come in the studio and give us a full background of this whole story and event that took place as the unveiling of the Buffalo Soldiers came to be.
I'm glad you would give us that opportunity, because there are a lot of unique stories of individuals doing things, and that's why we call it the project that the Hand of Providence built.
Okay.
We gave a guy one T-shirt to move a flag, electrical pole.
All sorts of little things.
A lot of little things that we had no control over from start to finish, 3 years.
Wow.
For the people that didn't know anything about it, not a big group, but a lot of different people doing individual things.
Okay.
And I'm so glad you came out here to talk to Mr. Madison and the Buffalo Soldier living at that particular time. They were so proud to see this come up. And I got to gain a great appreciation for it. And thank you.
Thank you for being with us, and I'm looking forward to you coming back to the studio.
Give us the time, we'll come right over. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for joining us today on Conversations in Fort Leavenworth at the Buffalo Soldier Monument. Thank you.